has joined our organization. They are active in our council meetings. They are active also within the group of the African countries. It's not only the African countries that are producing cocoa. You have also the Asian and the American, Latin American and Caribbean countries. So I think what I see in Sierra Leone, in addition to the political will, which is the basis, the foundation, we see, the Produce Monitoring Board as an agency with skills and capacities to on the one hand, advise properly the cocoa producers, but also work throughout the entire value chain up to exportation to support all stakeholders. This morning we will meet with the platform of the 3C, coffee, cashew, and cocoa, and we will see what are the respective roles of the various stakeholders in the value chain. So we have also met with the Minister of Agriculture. Of course, the ministries, in particular in the provinces, are important for instance, extension services, advice to the farmers. We haven't yet discussed that, but I'm sure it's an important issue we will have to see, is how Sierra Leone can organize a better supply of inputs to the farmers, because you need to produce good cocoa, you need good cocoa trees. And to have good cocoa trees, you need to have good material, vegetal material, good trees, good. You need nurseries, you need to do grafting, you need fertilizers, while at the same time being extremely careful with the use of pesticides, because if you want to keep your organic label, you should use organic-friendly inputs.
Okay, continue to stay with us in the program. Michelle Ayon, Executive Director, International Cocoa Organization. We'll get back to you. The program Good Morning Salon continue. Any side you listen, send your message or comments to the number 077 981 981.
We look at other issues at the program now, as malaria don't they kill plenty people all over the world. The Deputy Program Manager at the National Malaria Control Program, Dr. Alhaji Ture, say, according to statistics where the Ministry of Health gets, then they show say malaria sick don't kill plenty people inside this year compared to other sick them within the country. Well, Dr. Alhaji Ture talk this where the Ministry of Health Speak Up Africa go train journalists them, but how for reports on malaria issue them na the country. Well, Dr. Ture talk more inside this interview with Wani Gauja.
As it stands now, we've been there still at 40%. We just don't do program review.
40% rating.
That's not the 40% of prevalence malaria in the country.
Okay, so what's not the seriousness of the malaria sick as compared to other sickness?
Malaria, it kill past any other sickness in Sierra Leone. The thing is, we're afraid HIV/AIDS. Even this corona virus where they now in the country, people are afraid the coronavirus past malaria. But honestly, as I talk to you, we as technical people, the malaria they kill people past HIV/AIDS. It kill people past coronavirus.
So meaning dangerous past coronavirus.
If we compare now the deaths where malaria don't cause from the time where corona don't come to now, malaria deaths pass corona. Almost every day people they die of malaria. Now where we know they do post-mortem. Somebody died safe in a village, then just they can go better.
So how do they know now people malaria
we statistics and the PHUs, then we they all over the country, the same we report. If Peking don't go, the diagnosis don't the PHU staff don't see and say na malaria. They don't put a in book saying na malaria. So if that Peking then people then take care and go na us, they don't get proper treatment, then he pass away. Then can you go bear? And that report actually not they come back to the PHU for I saying that. But when they compile the reports, they send them to we, and we get information that Peking been die, we will definitely know say because he don't die. Now that health facility records say that Peking they may can go now the facility with malaria.
So according to the Ministry of Health,
Wetin una feel say na the cause of where malaria still dey na we midst?
It is not easy to eradicate malaria, to be honest.
So wetin na we own storming block?
Plenty. Look at what we environment. Go na some communities, let you see who side the mosquito they grow, the breeding, because na mosquito they cause malaria. Like you go na some compound, then let you see potholes there, who side water they settle and malaria they breed. You know, so those factors, you go na some mining areas, places like Kono. In finance, where they don't dig them hole and they for pull the diamond, then they left the hole and they empty. You don't need the cover. Water they settle inside the hole then they na the mosquito they can so don't breed. So now so then they multiply, go inside town, they go and pet people there. So now make they say we encourage people for they sleep under the net. So all those measures now we they try we all together. When you dig, you don't mind you diamond. That hole they cover and fine. Let water not settle inside it, and so that mosquito can breathe there, so that for Hamburg people there. This environmental sanitation, the environment is very, very important. Clean your compound, you know. Let mosquito actually not there around your compound. Then grass the way they grow around with buildings there. Now the villages there, mosquito they can't hungry. You know when it can go inside the house, then they begin Hamburg. So, but the environmental sanitation na in the get rid of all those mosquitoes that we the na you compound all them things. So we dey encourage our people.
As we speak now, lastly, Salon gets enough medication for malaria
We
treatment?
have more than enough. Honestly, I, Dr. Toure, na me then give the responsibility, you know, for actually who they distribute the malaria drugs all over the country as I speak
So
to you
why
now.
what are the cause of why people then they die of them now?
No. If you die of malaria, now you will cause that. Because when you get to the hospital very late, when you get to the hospital, sometimes some man will get malaria, they go pepe doctor. You go to the native healers. You know, then go get wrong treatment. By the time now, where the thing they are at the point of death, and the time now one then they take a go na the health facility. There is nothing the health facility go do at this time. We get all kind of drugs right now in this country for malaria. You know, one new drug says if we don't bring can now. Like the Pekin there no more. Where they sick of malaria, we get the way we would put her na the private the backside. We quick, it recover
Okay.
before we take and carry
Talking
go to the
about
hospital.
picking them and adults, youths them, what are them more exposed for
Now
getting malaria?
the one them where they at risk,
Yeah.
now the one them they picking them and then belly woman. You know, now it make we say as a ministry would pay special attention to them.
Dr. Alhaji Toure na im name and na the Deputy Program Manager na the National Malaria Control Program. Maybe they talk on that interview day with Wani Gauja about how they say malaria they kill. Inside this year, them nothing malaria don't kill plenty people compared to other sick them within the country. The program they continue with a take short commercial break and come back to the studio guest them.
Sierra Leone Commercial. Salon Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile app, you can able for use Salon Link money transfer for send money to anybody like you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office like you not get the account number. Buy Ed Salite, pay other bill them, and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again, but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yagbadon done for we boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all your supplier them, sell forex to Salon Commercial Bank, and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store, or go to Salon Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering value. Sierra Leone Commercial
Bank. The program Good Morning Salon they continue, and we will bring this edition come to you this Thursday morning. My name is Sapti Yukalon
and Mabel Kaba.
Inside the program now, we go over to our studio guest as today inside the program Good Morning Salon. With the access our cocoa production, don't they benefit the country in revenue generation na salon, and we get Dr. James VB with we na the studio. We don't they explain giving things that we don't know they put so far with farmer them for improve on cocoa production. Mr. VB, before we go for a break, you talk about calling farmers them, we call them back to the cocoa production, that for remind them on certain things we they need for do. But when you look back, things that we people for consider or factor about cocoa production, one get for do with climate condition way suited for a good cocoa tree planting. In that area, the inonary calling of the farmer there, how well una consider this factor?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, fortunately for we this year, we don't get a very good climate. Um, Rain starts as early as April, and up to now, rain they come. We very good for the production of cash crop, including cacao. I mean, the farmers are very happy. Where climate and weather condition actually not a serious problem to the cash crop production. I think some of the challenges we'll get now the problem of actually translating those successes we don't get, we don't improve the quality, we don't profile Sierra Leone cash crop now the international. Waiting they can do normally that they go give maybe one bag cocoa for one bag rice. So that's the impoverishment more. But I think we they move gradually to away from then act them. But it not get for be very immediate. I mean that's the reason why we see say even with all the
Increase in that production in one thing where Michelle be make mention of say use nurseries, the trees and separate then can get them then cocoa them from how on a plan for develop the areas and in terms of getting good quality fertilizers them within the use for them.
well, I think that one of the key reasons even where they are because yesterday I called all development partners, EU, World Bank, FAO, name all of them. Yesterday they were at Foreign Affairs. He actually tell them the need for concentrate on their support for cacao production, you know, and basically we discuss as a house in there, moving forward. I think say we get for streamline or we get for readjust maybe the produce governance to way go make most of them aid them way or donations way the international community they get go actually get a positive impact not only on paper but in action and in results. The people we now the beneficiaries we now the farmers and also the government of Sierra Leone in extension. So now all them things that make you see they are we don't discuss yesterday. I think today he has a dinner with the EU representative now, yeah. So like I say, in Cameroon here actually they create a huge benefit and it also will be an eye opener and a lot of um, direction of concentration on the produce sector. We may believe say a positively get for uh, affect within the president vision be we now for diversify the economy because imagine if we get 50 to 70 tons of cocoa naya where they come out in a relatively high quality as is considered now we go don raise a lot of money at the local level and also even at the national level.
But for the local level, how it go get for happen? Because not a secret say, although you say una they try for ensure say the one the way they plant the cocoa and say the farmers them able to get a better living when that's the international organization say they work towards. How una really want to do this for ensure say the country not just go get good name and the one the way they do the work not get nothing for show for this. How it go get for happen?
Yes, I think it involve a lot of strategies. One key thing we don't do, we don't try for the link cooperatives directly to the international market. I mean, this is not the first time we don't get two cooperatives. Like in August, one of the cooperative we don't do inter chiefdom link. They don't form cooperative in a very organized way. They don't do them forced exportation. This is now one of the way we will enrich the effort and the capacity of the farmers themselves for seed and labor. Another way is actually Sierra Leone. We don't try in the past 2 years. We don't make most of we sister countries where they produce cocoa. Maybe the farmer gets 60%, but here we don't go above 60%. They are getting nearly 80 to 85% of the proceed way then they sell the cocoa. So I think what we need now is actually for them to see their farms as a business entity, not as a collateral item. Because most of these farmers, as I initially tell you, they get that farm, then they at the end of the day, maybe in the rainy season, they go trust and put. They say, "Oh, I get at the end of the year, I go able get 5 bag cocoa, so trust me this money." So at the end of the day, they not get anything. So we want to pull that away from them. We want to see them making their farm as a business entity wherein they go able to sponsor them, picking them go school, they go able to buy food for themselves, they go able to take care of some of their social needs. So I think that this we actually don't impress in the minds of the farmers across the country.
Okay, for achieve the thing them wey you highlight for lay cocoa farmer them get waiting they dey work for in earning power produce high quality to cocoa a very important, but in all of this for let that be achievable they need for get access to necessary equipment them wey for make they able do this. They need for get the encouragement in terms of thing them wey farmer they really need when they do this cocoa farming. How often or when are the accessibility to some of them equipment there so?
Yes, well, actually, for give farmers implement as they happen in other countries is yet a challenge. Now that make me earlier statement I say we actually get for tweak the produce governance for let it actually um, help the farmers. Michelle be the talk. This is not say we in the same thing we dey talk and the same thing in the advise that we need for supply. These farmers, some of these materials, planting materials, equipment, I think something we would be under discussion as moving forward for make sure that we aid this farmers.
Are getting older. So you have a problem of aging population of farmers. So you certainly have to keep the young generation on the farms and to train them and to make them understand that indeed a farm can be a business entity, and on that basis that they can achieve a good income that would convince them to stay on the farm and to develop their farm. I'm the head of the ICCO, the cocoa organization, but I'm in the need of diversification. Cocoa farmers should not be too much dependent on cocoa. They should have a spectrum of commodity that they are producing in order to mitigate the risks. So if they have, you mentioned in your discussion with Dr. Vibi the risk of climate change. It's a very serious risk. Maybe not this year or next year, but in the medium term, it's very serious. So we don't know to what effect, this climate change can have an impact on cocoa. We have some cocoa research institutes have developed varieties of cocoa trees that are more resistant to the climate change or to drought or to too much disease from mushroom, from fungus that are developing because of sometimes too heavy rains. So those things are also extremely important. But to answer your question, you have the basis, you have the farmers, you have the plantations. So it's just a question of scaling up, both in terms of yield and efficacy, efficiency of the farm. So some kind of modernization of the farm is important, also to address the needs of the young generations. I mentioned the role of Minister of Agriculture. Is absolutely key, but I would like to mention also the role of the Minister of Trade, because it's good to produce, but you have to sell. So you have to make the link between the producers and the buyers. We have seen recently in the cocoa value chain a development of what we call bean-to-bar solutions. That is, those who are making the bars of chocolate, the small, very often they are small or medium-sized chocolatier in the United States, in Japan, in Europe, making direct links with cooperatives to avoid too many transactions and to get a maximum of benefits within the structure of price. You must also understand that when you buy a chocolate, 1 kilo of chocolate for $20, the value of the cocoa is $1. It's 5%. So between the $1 and the $20, there are $19 that are distributed among various stakeholders, also to cover a lot of costs, of course, to transform the cocoa into chocolate. But still, there is room for a more equitable distribution and sharing of the added value between the cocoa and the chocolate. And if you can, through an efficient commercialization system with the role of the Minister of Trade, but also that, good connection between the producers and private sector, you can address this question of redistribution of value. So yes, the basis is there. It's just a question of scaling up and providing a few conditions to deliver.
All right, Michelle, continue to stay with us in the program. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue. Let me take short commercial break and look at more issues.
Because money easy for loss, like how it easy for broke egg. You save not for life you couple business, so people they will not sabi, and one day we get ben. Union Trust Bank get all the correct and master sabi people them for help make you couple better. We na Union Trust Bank team up tranga, so your money go fine with no wahala, and you no go get we kind service no other side. Make good use of we SMS alert where they show you your money transaction. Enjoy we internet banking services for check your accounts. Sef, you can visit we website on www.utb.sl for no more, but we order plenty products and service them. Now Union Trust Bank, excellence now it's on card. Union Trust Bank, the force and true Salomon Bank.
Take you to any food that you want to eat. I will surely grow with you, baby. Just be confident. Take you all around the continent. You can choose anywhere that you want to eat. You can eat any dish, it's a continent.
I'm gonna put my future in the land. Gonna make everybody understand. Right now, it's time to make a change. We stand together. Let's
la jeunesse africaine qui tu vends nos terres.
Let's grow together like the seeds of life forever. Let the earth provide for your children's hunger no more. So let us grow Africa. Make we join hands, build Africa. The time is now, the land is green. All that's left is you and me.
All right, well, we hope so. Now listen to the message where the African All-Stars do That song with entitled Coconut Chocolate, and we dedicate them to all the hardworking farmers them where they ensure say they continue for do hard work. We proud of una all. Una continue for do am as and say one day on a hustle go make sense. The program Good Morning Salon they continue and we dey look at other issue of the program now.
And inside the program now, we dey go outside some people we tap Nafriton and Lungedor is concerned, but the Pasmak attack we say Tifman them they attack them na net. Then people are raise concern to Radio Democracy in our interview. Also they say Tifman them don't they attack them business center and host them during the coffee term. When Musa Kamara gets more on this.
Plenty concern don dey comot from community people from different partners salon, but out if madam they attack their host and dem business place them na net. I talk to some people that Wilberforce community in Freetown wey tell me about the experience in the hands of the thief madam.
On Wednesday morning, 4:00 a.m., I don dey sleep. I hear me sister and pikin dey holla, thief. I just jump na the bed and comot. That me and them meet up at thief man broke the gate, steel gate, can me host broke me back door. Now still door safe. How them broke them, how they not broke them, no know. How they waiting and take use, waiting and you know. Still does. The old machete, then 3 car inside. Some be there na do. The old 2 cutlass, other weapon then. They can't enter Paris. They wear black. They answer. We ask me for money. Take phones then. Take me computer laptop. Take money on a $500 inside envelope with 3,750,000 extra 400,000 again. Then go with everything. So with the expected security, I let police then focus at this area because every day, and not so you want to get attacked that day. Now 3 places there. Me own place make 3.
Honestly, this year I don't really pass mark, you know. That particular also sad this so now the 2 consecutive year this Tiffman and they go during the games. So it been so fearful that day for see Tiffman with gun and cutlass, you know, then go attack that place. When we wake up, at least we try for like the hala thief na the area, but it been so we don't so late that people are unable to come on a door.
Then come by 5 to 4. Then prime the back door. Then prime another door. Then prime the kitchen door. Then prime the window, but then able enter since bars be did. Then try forcefully for prime the back door because I didn't enter from, but they're not able. So we all are thief, but they still continue for prime. So all are thief, and I want to tell me man say them on fire the gun. Now they run, then go. That was the end. 9 and go to the other hostel for thief.
But then people are still they wonder how the thief madam can move during the coffee term, where they can go attack them business place and host them.
Honestly, I don't understand this coffee order, honestly. You know, I feel say if you coffee order, the people are not for go out at it at that time day. You know, so me, I don't feel say the coffee order do good to we presently. You know, government for you visit that one day and make sure say them put apparatus in place for ensure say at least this tear stop in this country. Because this village right now, all sides and they go and thief, all sides and they go harass people them.
The coffee they on thief man and they come out the hour they when they send at 6 o'clock the coffee for end. But people they come out 2, 3, 4 for can't thief. So we not see what's in at the coffee. If they left the coffee, some say people then go the waka. That hour they will go be safe. Because if people then they waka, some say thief man go afraid. But if they say coffee all man and say thief man and they can't thief, this is not done.
This na the same situation at different partners salon as some people na Lungi raise concern about how thief man them don't they attack the host property them during net inside the past 2 weeks.
We manage presently this store, Bacteria Enterprise. Kalemi Junction, first of 8 months, is to close the store. The store was well closed, all the padlock were all locked fine, then we drive off. We go back. Suddenly now, the next day morning by going to 7 o'clock, then call me and tell me, say, we stop opening. So I rush come my store. At least, like I know the problem. When I come, I see one of the padlock, the big padlock, then broke the padlock. Then the bar, the crossbar we use, much more for lock the remote back, then bend the crossbar, open them, then they enter into the store, then thief money inside the store.
For Seka Olen Konsania, I turn to ASP Samuel Sayo Conte, Deputy Head of Police Media, who enforced ASCAM, how then Thief Mayaki able move na net.
Of course, you don't actually say curfew time. We not agree anybody pass or let a community during curfew hour. Anybody will take the risk and they do at your own detriment. And we don't suspect. Now, one of the reasons in that one is when they could pull up public notice, certain individuals, bad people, then they use police and military camouflage for do bad thing and it. Many times people in the future are the security personnel and they do that thing. Now, it's man them, then they do that thing. So, and if we don't tell the public, say anyone, when we take, we will deal with them decisively and we will charge an court.
ASP Samuel Sayo Conte continue say the police this BNTM don't make plenty arrest of criminals them when they catch with different weapon them na different parts them na the country.
Yeah, of course, in the provinces, we make arrest on 6 hardcore criminals then at Kenema and move to Freetown 3 days ago, Congo Cross and Lomley, then do an intensive raid. We arrest up to 20-something criminals them, and then they do the probing and processing, and then they go charge them in court. Within the last 1 month, Sierra Leone police, ranging from the provinces, taken a Freetown, we don't arrest over 30 criminals. Then we do bad thing to people in this country. Yeah, of course, some we take care with pistol. Some, of course, good majority of them we take care with. We can implement them like cutlass, axe, nerve, scissors, crowbars, you name it.
ASP Samuel Sayo Conte end up for call on community people for support the police and security business through community policing for say then kind reduce na different community them na saloon for the Society for Radio Democracy Musa Kamara.
Because in confusion.
But this confuse me, boo. Look where Uncle Nat in Wall Solid. Look him block them with them beat for him, where they save solid, and at the same amount of cement and sand then they use for beat me on. But look what in the happen. Me wall down for them, all the block they all don't scatter. It like say some kind magic they behind this. You want know the magic behind this? Now the superior quality, extra strong, extra life and extra yield cement where are they use, and that's not Dangote 3X Portland limestone cement. Dangote cement na the highest grade cement in the country. When a 42.5 R grade cement, when no one day come na this country, and a one of the highest grade pan cement where you go get na the wall. Where you want you concrete, wall and block solid, use Dangote 42.5 R cement, you no go regret them. You go get Dangote 42.5 R cement na all the shop and building material store na the one whole country.
Rokel Commercial Bank don't make a the waka with me bank na me phone. Rokel Commercial Bank go make you the waka with you bank na you phone. Them been come with SIM copper and now they don't increase the facility. For sure say na them na the Alagba from banking business na now they don't come with SIM copper plus. They don't come with SIM copper plus. This service go allow you for send money to person where they salon anytime you want. It no matter the mobile company where you there. As you send me go get some quick one. What's na inside salon you there? The money go reach you. It no matter if you there na the east, west, north, south. So secure then you go na Google Play Store and search for the app. SIM Copper Plus I say download them. Follow the instructions and register your device. The process no long no even reach 2 minutes. When you done the bank go send message na your phone. For confirm say na your phone number bang bang. Enjoy e-copper and more facilities. SIM Copper Plus e come for we all. You dey na city or village just na salon you dey. You e-copper go reach you dey. Heads top up self now they under the facility. With e-copper you can cash out your money from any local commercial bank agent or branch all around the country.
The program Good Morning Salon they continue and we they look at message them na the program now. This very first how they look at say bravo Dr. VB and team for sending Mama Salon to third in the world ranking of best cocoa produced in country and first in Africa. Mama Salon applauds you come out from Dr. Medino.
The other message here, they say this is a good initiative. Honestly, it is only now our farmers have started benefiting from natural gift and farmers need more components to benefit from.
This other one say, good morning, Radio Democracy. Michelle, what would be your advice towards climate change? Because some of these climate change effects are man-made. What would you advise, especially people living in poor communities?
Another message inside the program, they say, Dr. VB, what's the price of cocoa per kilogram this year?
All right, to look at more messages now the program Good Morning Salon. This other one where we look at the person say, I don't think. All right.
This other one on the malaria interview, the person said malaria is dangerous and we need to protect ourselves from mosquito bite. That's why government through the Ministry of Health should ensure that all households have a mosquito net.
All right. Ibrahim Nadwazak, they ask, say, is it advisable for government to focus on cocoa production, talking about economic diversification for Sierra Leone?
This other message inside the program says Michelle is indeed an expert in cocoa. For the few days in Sierra Leone, he has been able to identify challenges and lapses.
This other message where we dey look, okay, the person asked the price. Okay, now that same question we asked for the price per cocoa for kg na hill station. The person said the text from Najul.
More message inside the program. This other one, they say more people are not showing interest into cocoa farming or production because those who are in it already are living in poverty.
All right, the final one we go look at because of time. The person say, "Good morning, Radio Democracy and guests in the studio. Honestly, I doff my hat to Dr. VB. God bless you, sir, for the demonstration of patriotism. This is the type of news items well-meaning Sierra Leoneans want to hear. Just me, Sierra Leone as a nation is progressing." A comment from Moses.
This last one, when we say they say the farmer themselves should be benefit from international training and opportunities because they are the one who are in the field.
And from their message, and they come over to studio guest them. We they start with you, I'm Dr. VB, and come over to Michelle because I go get for left early in the program. We go start from you for respond, and we go over to Michelle.
Yes, thank you very much, Radio Democracy. One of the questions we go answer, somebody say how much could be cocoa per kilogram this year. Normally, we can give indicative price when the season don't begin. The season can begin 1st of October. Then we can give indicative price. But we not actually they give prices ranging to the highest way you for pay, or we can just give terminal price that you not go pay below this. Okay. But the markets they determine the value of cocoa in Sierra Leone, because the cocoa often serve is so small now, just 15,000 tons with several exporters. So there is a lot of competition to get cocoa for exportation. So as the season they go progress, you will see there will be a lot of tension. Now that make I tell listeners and say Sierra Leone the Sierra Leone farmer they get a very high price per kilo as compared to other countries. Here we get something like 90 to 95% of the international price goes to the farmer. So where some other countries are 60% or 65% can go to the farmer.
So in terms of revenue generation for the country, how you go explain on our performance?
Well, yes, I mean the more we export and the higher the price of cocoa at the international market, the higher governments get revenue from it. But government in key stake in actually the sales of cacao at the international market is the forex that comes back to the country. You know that they add value to the country in money, that they add value also to governing transaction. So that make we government can always get in regulations as to how for repatriate them funds and where they go overseas back to Sierra Leone. You see, government in benefit in the transaction of cocoa is numerous, because if the rural earning increase, government they get leverage in the governance with the community people, or they able to deal with poverty. You see, so it get a lot of things. If there is serious price in cocoa, all the things that we talk about human rights or child abuse, it not go really occur, because if that farmer they get money for take care of a pikin for send them to school, it not go send them to infamu within the city. So all them thing them, and if they able take care of them, God picking them, give them all within they want, and not feel say other people will able convince them. So it gets a lot of advantage to a nation if we actually able for put our attention for really raise this industry at the country.
In an interview do months back, you state say because of the COVID-19, una targeted year plan, like which una dey able generate, una not go able meet for do or achieve this year. So in line with that, how when are the effect of the COVID-19 to your department on cocoa production?
Yes, I mean, it get a lot of effect because one, so we get inter-district lockdown. Initially, before the cocoa harvest, people they can don't do something we call underbrushing. But because and this underbrushing they can do them communally, like one community come out, they go help them compete and then brush. So this year when there was inter-district, they not be able to do that. So you go find out say most of the cacao bush cacao farms then don't become some kind of bush where they get for money. So eventually it will be very good for level able think say we could be low even the tonnage we used to get
Right.
this year because I mean the farms are bushy and it is highly likely that they're not going to be able to do most of the harvest than some of the farms there.
Right. Continue further with you at the studio, Dr. Vibi. We'll come over to Michelle Arion, when Executive Director, International Cacao Organization. I guess you followed up the questions listeners asked, but as you responding to those questions, we spoke earlier about economic diversification, and agriculture is one of the sectors that the government has placed priority in terms of achieving the economic diversification. But is it safe also to focus more on production of cocoa in terms of the world market prices? Because Dr. Vibi just spoke about, yes, we have the quality production, but the pricing in the international market has been affecting the country for a very long time. So is it safe to place more priority in production of more cocoa?
Yes, I think it's safe. I think it's a good policy because precisely of the quality of Sierra Leone cocoa that is less impacted by the low prices on the international market. So you can preserve your position just like some countries in Latin America or in the Caribbean producing highly recognized, highly respected quality cocoa. So if you can, actually you have to build your image as Sierra Leone cocoa as a niche market, as a single origin cocoa. Today, the American or the European consumer, they are looking for not chocolate, they are looking for chocolate from Ecuador, chocolate from Colombia. Why not chocolate from Sierra Leone? Right, you see? So there is a very important question of positioning and marketing of the chocolate. If you do that, the buyers will come and normally they should agree to pay better prices. But if I may address the question, a very important question on climate change. I was asked that.
Yeah,
I think it's extremely important. Climate change, you cannot fight it, you cannot stop it. It's irreversible. It's unstoppable. But the answer can be either to adapt or to mitigate the effects. And here you have the possibility in terms of mitigation of effects. Actually, their response is forest, planting trees. Cocoa trees were found for the first time in Amazonia, in Brazil, and in Ecuador, in the primary rainforest. So the cocoa trees, normally they grow under the canopy of bigger trees, of taller trees. So we have adapted this coexistence between cacao tree and big trees with the so-called agroforestry or shade trees. So my answer is to plant trees, actually, which will have a double advantage. First of all, to produce shade to protect the cacao trees from the sun. And second, you can exploit in an economic way the timber. And we are back to your question of diversification. So diversification is not only producing other crops, it's also other sources of revenue like the business in the wood business and the timber. You know the effect of charcoal. A lot of local communities, they use charcoal as source of energy. It's not sustainable unless it is managed properly. You can have a sustainable charcoal production and a charcoal consumption if you produce your own wood and if you do not destroy more trees than you than you can plant again. So that's important. In terms of diversification, I would like also to mention the importance of diversifying your clients. I'm European. I see that 99% of the cocoa of Sierra Leone goes to Europe, but I don't think it's a good thing. You should try to find clients in America and in Asia, to diversify your clients and your risk, to spread your risk. Because if you, for a reason or another reason, who knows, you lose your European clients, you will have no clients anymore. So you better have other solutions in Asia and in America.
Michelle, your main purpose of coming to Sierra Leone is to guide and give advice. So particularly for the Cocoa Excellence Awards in Paris, will be able to at least be recognized. Now, what are the immediate measures or things that should be done in line with this award come 2021?
Well, I think the most important thing is to put in place the national organizing committee at local level, at domestic national level, to pre-select the best cocoa producing farmers, to pre-select the best samples, to organize yourself your selection, and to be able to send to Paris, or to actually it's to Rome, because the agency in charge of this Cocoa of Excellence program is affiliated to the FAO in Rome. They will do the selection among the pre-selected samples. So what is important is to make sure that you are able to test the samples and to send only those with the highest quality, highest flavor.
Talking about quality and, sorry, you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Talking about quality and flavor, how will you describe also the packaging? Because the cocoa might have a very high quality and flavor as well, but packaging also has been a challenge over the years, though they've been working to improve on the packaging. What needs to be done in terms of packaging?
Well, when we are talking about assessing the quality of cocoa, actually the assessment goes also onto the chocolate itself. Okay. So you have also to make sure that the quality of your cocoa is not affected when the cocoa is transformed, is ground into cocoa paste. It's called cocoa liquor, that is then enriched with sugar and cocoa butter, and that makes the chocolate. Okay, so there will be an assessment on the cocoa beans and on this basic chocolate that is a mixture of cocoa paste, sugar, and butter, right? And on top of that, yes, the packaging, the assessment is purely qualitative on the flavor. They call it sensorial quality, so they don't look at the packaging. But of course, if you win an award, and I'm sure you will, let's cross our fingers for that. If you win 1, 2, 3 awards out of the 50 awards, then it has to be translated into more contracts and more clients, which is another challenge, and that's the next step. And there you need to have built up a brand, an image, and the packaging is part of this brand, of course.
So do you have plans to meet with the local producers, the farmers, before leaving?
Well, I would have loved to go. We had initially planned a visit to Kenema, but because of logistical arrangement, it was cancelled. But I will come back. I'm sure I will come back soon, and I'm sure we will organize a field visit. Yes,
it's challenging moments now for the whole world, and Sierra Leone is not left behind. And you're here. The COVID is here. You might not get much time to go to the beaches, our beautiful beaches.
No beach. I prefer the plantations.
So what have you been eating in terms of our food?
Oh, they will tell you that I very much like West African food in general, but I love cassava leaves. So I had cassava and green leaves yesterday, and today I have ordered pounded yam.
So you're about to leave the studio now. What would you say to our listeners in terms of supporting the farmers in their various communities, not just putting everything, the burden on, say, let's wait for government to come down to the farmers and assist them?
No, I think it's an important message to the farmers, is to get organized. You know, we have a business model of cocoa producing farmers based on smallholders. and they have very small land producing relatively small quantities on each land. So getting organized, forming cooperatives, having one voice to advocate in favor of better prices, better access to inputs, etc. So that's the main message is this one: getting organized, united, you are stronger.
So in
And
terms-
the same is valid for the platform of exportation, of course. You cannot, each farmer cannot sell the beans. The cooperatives have to sell, and the platform of exporters that we will meet soon will also have to get organized in a united policy, at least.
So what can you say to farmers in terms of encouragement for them to stay in the field of cocoa farming despite all the challenges?
Well, maybe it's a message to the younger generation. I think because I think it's really important that the young generation understand that their future probably is more in rural areas and on the farm they will inherit from their parents, that in downtown in the cities. It's a very difficult message all over the world because it's a natural trend of people to leave the rural areas and the villages to the city centers, etc. I think there is also a responsibility of the authorities to provide to those young generation a minimum of services. It's not only on the economy and the production of agricultural products, it's also the social services. You will stay in your village if there is electricity, if there is energy, if you have an internet connection, if you have a minimum of potable water, if there is a health centers for your children, if there is a primary school, etc. So it's a whole package. A rural development is not about agriculture only. So I think, again, I would say an organized farmers and organized cooperatives should not only look at the cocoa and at the price of cocoa, but also all the environment, economic and social.
All right. Thanks for joining us in the studio this morning,
Thank you very much for the
Michelle
invitation.
Erion. You're welcome. Finally, to you, Dr. James Vibi, una dey about to leave the studio, about whose advice should they left to the farmers them as should they left?
Well, the farmers then are for let we all work together for maintain and increase the quality of the farms, and I also want to reiterate that they foresee them farming as a business, right? Hence they get that business mentality that we're able to maintain the farms. And generally to Sierra Leoneans, I think if we all adopt the Ivory Coast method, we will able deal with food sufficiency in this country. If every adults in this country gets a farm, I mean that will help the food security. I remember the Director General and Ivory Coast Cocoa Board tell me say an adult in Ivory Coast will not get farm, not to serious citizen.
So you get farm?
I get farm. I get big farm.
All right.
And if next year I see Mabel get farm, Sapu get farm, Asma get farm.
Myself get small farm na my backyard.
See, so food security we don't reach that level. Yeah, so I tell you now, thank you for we host we, and I say from Modern Tata.
All right. Many thanks for joining the program this morning, Dr. James Vibi, Executive Chairman for the Produce Monitoring Board, and Chef Michelle Erion, the Executive Director, International Cacao Organization. I think on the studio this morning. We will continue for look at more issues in the program as we for continue for support women them for come inside politics. The project lead for the European Union support project, Dr. Aisha Fofana Ibrahim, don't say EU don't give the 50-50 group salon 700,000 euro for implement one project we name Beyond Politics of Men, empowering women to be effective political actors in Sierra Leone. Dr. Aisha Fofana Ibrahim explain more to Usman Kamara inside this interview about the project.
We want to start as early as possible in the political process, and because urgent people making the complaints say, oh, now they come out later. So this is not 2020. 2023 is like 3 years. People think say if I was enough. But they're familiar with the agenda, but they understand say that this we hope for achieve, but they understand say the woman they're willing, the day they want for take part. When I open the door for them, do ya, but then kind side.
As you rightly say, now for the political party that they allow women then for the women themselves they come out and team up for position them. Firstly, possibly go to ask go one know waiting on a main objective of implementing such project.
The main objective now for ensure say we get a long process of grooming women. We're ready for take part in politics. That's now one. Second, I forget the political parties, then forget a buy-in of what we stand for. Therefore, should understand say the Umaya they are available, they're ready for take part in this process. And number three, I forget the electorate ready for votes for them political for the Umaya.
Right. Now, this particular project or any project we organization that implements, they must get a specific area them where they implement them. So for this project, almost districts them when they implement them.
The EU supported project now, 3 districts, Cambia, Tonkolili, and Kenema. And in each district, we focus on 75 women who will take through these 3 years for ensure say they get all the skills and all the confidence necessary for them participate fully, whether or not they're in political party structure, whether or not chiefdom level, whether or not council, or whether or not parliament. So 225 women is our goal to get these women ready for 2023.
So what's the time frame of this project?
3 years.
All right, so let's look at the couple aspect of this project. So almost EU mean Gitu night.
No, it's a grant. It's something we applied for and we got a 700,000 euro.
Okay, the issue of women them into politics, most people can say women they not they supported themselves. So in this case, during the presentation, we see do go around and do some findings. We not like some of the things them with them women they are on different side there. Tell una.
The findings about the political structures are difficult for me to enter. They talk about the money, where politics involve a lot of money. They talk about the violence, and they talk about the cultural practices. Somebody go pull devil, they do woman for rally. So all them kind of things then they prevent women from going. What do we need for Dunana for translate the support from the personal to the political, so from the private to the political, because women support women every aspect of personal life, don't we? Before something happen, a woman first reach there. And they help you do, and they help you cry, and they help you gladly. So we want to move that support base to the political angle for me to understand, say, when now we need the Umaya who don't they support. Me then did this, so don't go support we, follow we life, then change. So when women, when they're in leadership, of course, you get a critical mass of women, there's bound to be change in the lives of women.
As soon as they try for the woman and come into politics and all top position, then what think will be a word of encouragement to political party there in general?
Okay, so I want for appeal again. We continue for appeal to the political parties for ensure say do a big, make them think about the majority of the people in this country. We're not women. Make them think about if they really believe say they want for change salon. Government they come, oh, want for make salon good, want for make salon this. The only way you can do it this way is you are fair. Fairness, how do you start? And fairness to the citizens. And if you're not fair to women, if you want, you can't take this country way before. So let them know that. Let them open the space. Let them get the commitment, not only to talk, but the commitment for ensure say they get women in at the right place.
All right, well, that's now Dr. Aisha Fofana Ibrahim, they talking about interview with Usman Kamara, as they explain about the support where EU don't give the 50-50 group.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and inside the program, we continue for look at more issue. Different institutions them can get documents we can guide them pan their work, where they can call act or policy. And for the tourism sector, they don't work with the Tourism Development Act of 1990. As now this act, they guide them for do the right thing them pan their work, we go bring development come na the sector. But the executive director na Center for Awareness and Participation in Tourism, Nabi Bangura, don't say government through the tourism sector for review the Tourism Act of 1990 because he said the act don't all and not in line with tourism development. Nabi Bangura explained more to me inside this interview.
Well, the Tourism Act of 1990, by the trend of which they go on at the industry globally, it needs to be reviewed because certain things in the way they may talk about in 1990, they are not happening now.
Like waiting and waiting. So
Well, like for instance, they get even some fines for hotels if they defer them payment or whatever they find them. You can imagine a whole hotel for 520,000 loans. So that tells you say this acts it don't archaic that we need for review. And there are certain laws now. If you want for let tourism in Canada country, there are certain laws you need for protect them. With this act not be specified.
talking about the fines of hotels, you think say still waiting inside this act in terms of the fines, now you believe say owners of hotels and still they pay?
Well, to me, because the act's not the law. So anything we know they now this act will they operate to right now, any fine will them fine and pay, meaning they don't go contrary to what the act say. So for let meet up to the current trend of the economy, this act now make it get a lot of things away and taste we need for look at all over again. Now make a call on the government, especially the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, for make steadfast and try to get the act. Because now we want let tourism boom in the country. But this act is supposed for guide we the laws them we want for operate on the development process of tourism. So if we not getting laws that are set, then we are missing it.
So you want to say looking at when this act was put together to now, another move to the supposed terrain, like how things you go, how the world they change?
Exactly, my sister. Now that make we for low catch up to the development of the tourism globally and locally, this act need for be reviewed. So as I say, I really emphasize for call on the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs for ensure say we get this act, because if we not get laws them way they protect and guide the development of the tourism process in this country, we are missing it.
But again, when you look at the tourism sector, how really they work in terms of development, changes and improvement. Another angle they say again, though the act is old, but the ministry don't really they do well in the tourism sector.
Well, it is obvious that they are doing some moves and some gains. But to me, as a tourism professional, I strongly believe say this act now in the brain behind everything we want to do. There are two things. This act needs to be reviewed, and the tourism development process is continuing to get a policy. So then two things they are very important. The act in our laws them in the guide as to the development of tourism. The policy now in the guide as to what which development will take place, which development will take place in terms of tourism activities.
But you want to say the one that really in charge of the tourism sector no know all this, even though the act old?
Well, perhaps now complacency on our oversight. Now, I make some of we since this now feel and our passion, we call on them now. Let us make the all that is possible. Let us review this act. Can you imagine even the Constitution of Sierra Leone within the shortest possible time? They don't review. So why this act now we and the Constitution in 1991 and this act now in 1990? So it means they review the Sierra Leone Constitution for meet up to the current trend as how the people in the operate. So it means also the Tourism Development Act needs to be reviewed for let us catch up to the evolvement of the tourism.
So looking at the certification, that certificate will dedicate to different tourism establishments. Again, when you look at the act, also cover the inside and the what you will say in line with the certification will dedicate to different tourism establishments.
Yeah, well, for instance, since this act is very old enough, certain things in this way they need for take into consideration in terms of certification, we like the licensing for hotels, even certificates for hotel managers. Because the act spell them out say for a manager for head a hotel, you get forget a license, and the National Tourist Board had the responsibility for do that. Come what you may say, what if it don't happen for the past years? It actually in terms of certifying the establishment there, where you go there, you see the kind of class of hotel with the and what the class would then put what it actually take place in terms of staffing, in terms of the ambience of the place. You know they work well with the act. So, but if we get a new act where they spell out exactly.
They work well. What do you mean exactly?
Well, the people in with the hoteliers, they don't even operate based on the act, which they're supposed to do.
Because things that they are aware and know within the Tourism Act of 1990 they talk about it.
Well, that, to be honest with you, not in fact, an officer say they read 10% whoever know about this Tourism Act, because this Tourism Act, in fact, even we're gonna gazette, they will get so now because they don't hold that the one that will be they don't get them off from the shelves. So it means how somebody will operate based on the guided principles. Now we make them popularized to them, it make them known to them. So if we review this act, then the hotel operators, proprietors and proprietors, they know say there is an act and don't spell exactly how them for run their hotels. Because for instance, if you go renew your license, there is a department in the National Tourist Board we're responsible for classification. Therefore, always ensure that your hotel IED for this 2020 by next year, if we don't get improvement, for be the same standards, if we improve so that it would upgrade your hotel. But some hotels and they for the past how many years they've never been upgraded at the
So
same
you want to say
start.
all of them points here where they bring out to now on the tourism sector, focusly on the Tourism Act of 1990. You want to say the Ministry of Tourism and National Tourist Board not aware of the here, not only call people to their attention, that the one they win hotel owners them for let them upgrade and reach up to certain advanced standard.
Yeah, well, then gets the lapse. There's lapse with the ministry precisely because National Tourist Board then are for implement within the acts they say. But for instance, if then they go do certification to the hotels, then for ensure that within the acts say that for day. But that's not happening. That's why we get a lot of establishments that will not even registered.
Well, that's the executive director on a Center for Awareness